So if you watched the last episode, you know that I got my beautiful little brother PE 800 to work. I embroidered my first project, so today I'm going for project number 2. So this weekend is my cousin's baby shower. He's my little cousin, and it's just like a big deal to me that he's having a baby. I'm just so shocked. It's also a big deal that I'm having a baby too, so our babies get to, you know, grow up together. So it's an amazing feeling. So I just wanted to, you know, obviously I bought some stuff for the shower, but I wanted to make something, you know, a little bit more special, but at the same time with the limited time that I have, and not like overstress myself with everything else going on. So I decided to just do a simple baby blanket with fleece on one side and Minky fabric on the other, and then I just wanted to embroider the baby's name in it. And just simple, because at first, of course, I wanted to do it like really big, and I'm just like, okay, take it back, let's just put the baby's name on it, see how that goes, because I'm still learning. I wanted to do it on the top side, but the fabric itself, it has too much going on in the design, because the baby's room is going to be, I guess, nautical. So I got this nautical Mickey and Minnie print, but there's just too much going on that top side. So I literally just made the decision just to embroider the bottom side of it with the baby's name. So let's see how this goes. So as of now, I just I haven't used Embrilliance or any other software. I'm literally just using the touch screen on the Brother PE 800, and so I typed in the baby's name. It was too long, so it made me turn it, and then I just used that script font that they have in there. So that's where I am so far. Next, I'm going to go ahead and hoop the fabric and get it all set. Okay, so here's my 5x7 hoop. According to the design on the machine, it's going to print this way. So I have my stabilizer in here. And then here's my Minky fabric. So I'm going to make sure I put the button side up, or whatever you call it. And I want it at an angle because I want it to be in the corner. So this is probably going to be a bit tricky. I think what I'll do is fold it in half to find the center line. Okay, after quite the struggle with the hoop and a mini breakdown, I finally got it. Hopefully it's good enough. So I just threaded my main thread up top. I'm going to do white on the red background. So that's all set. I'm going to go ahead and drop my needle. And send this thing to go. So here we have the finished embroidered product. Now I just have to get in there and snip all of the threads in between the letters and fix this stabilizer here. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect. I wish I would have known that the font was that thin, because I definitely would have thickened it up, like boldened it. But on the machine it looked a lot thicker, and I was scared that the letters wouldn't show. Now I see here that it was way thinner than I thought, and the letters were even farther apart. So I probably would have put them closer together and made them thicker. But hey, you live and you learn. And so here we have the finished product of the back once the stabilizer was removed for the most part. And then here's the front with all the thread pieces gone. Okay, so now that we have the one side embroidered, I went ahead and I put my top fabric on top of the Minky fabric. So if you see in this corner is where the embroidered name is. I went ahead and put my two fabrics together with these little, I think they're called like alligator clips. I got them off of Amazon. I like them a lot better than using pins, just because I'm such a child and I always kind of pinch myself with pins because they get in the way later on. So I like these. They're a lot easier to put on also. But the fabric is a little too long. I bought 1 yard of each, but you know how the way it's folded in the bolt, it's a little bit too long for a newborn baby. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it at about 40 inches. And then if you come around on this side, you'll also see that the Minky is just a little bit shorter than the Mickey fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this also. And then I'll go ahead and pin up both sides. Now I used to waste a lot of time in trying to be really precise. And I found over time that it really doesn't matter. Because once you sew it, you either turn it up inside out or you do something else. And in this case, I'm going to put on this satin blanket binding on the edges because I like a nice satin edge. And so it's going to cover up the edges anyway. Okay, now I have my sewing machine set up. I have everything clipped together. And I'm going to just go ahead and sew just a regular straight stitch all the way around all of the borders. I'll probably do about a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. And make sure to back stitch. So you see I used red thread. It doesn't really matter because see the back is red, but it's going to get covered by the satin binding anyway, so it doesn't matter. So as you can see, the blanket's all sewn together. So technically it could be a blanket like that, but it's not good enough for me. So I'm going to add this satin binding. Now I just bought this at Joann's. I don't know, I think it's like $6-7 at the most. So it's satin and it's perfectly sized for a blanket and it's already folded in half. However, one side is just a little bit longer than the other. If you look, this back side is just a little bit longer. So what I usually do then is put that to the back because sometimes the material can slip when you're sewing. So this will be my front and this will be my back. Then you just use your handy dandy clips or pins if you want. And you're just going to pin this all the way around. Now the hardest part of this is where you stop and start and do the corners. I'm still not an expert at that, so it's going to look a little janky, but we're going to get through it and it'll be okay. I'm not selling these, it's for a gift. And then also the other hardest part is sewing with a zigzag stitch to make sure it gets on the blanket itself and on the satin binding. So I'll show you a bit when I head back to the sewing machine, but right now I'm going to show you how I get this thing started. And what you're going to do is fold it like a paper airplane. And you see it never comes out exactly right. Like I said, I'm not an expert. There's some people who can get this and it just like looks amazing. God bless them. I'm not one of those people. And then I just take an iron and kind of like iron it a bit so it stays. Good enough. So you don't want to start this in the corner because you got enough problems going on in your corners. You want to start this somewhere along the edge. And basically all you're doing is just tucking your material straight in. And then I try my best to go all the way to the edge as much as possible. So I'm going to clip here. and then just continue clipping all the way down. So for your first tricky part, you got to the edge, ignore the corner for now, and then act like you're continuing going down this side. Ow. So I usually clip one there, and then you kind of lay this flat and make your edge like that so that you have a corner. The trick is you need to look on the other side and see what that one looks like and make sure it doesn't look a hot mess on the other side. You kind of got to fix them both at the same time. And then this one, it's probably better to pin so you can get in the middle here because my clips can't get in the middle. See what I'm talking about? I hate pins. So much more work. In their defense, this is like a lot thicker. In their defense. Alright, and then, so now you got a cute little, I think it's called a mitered corner. Again, I'm no expert. I just make it happen. However it looks. You got your cute little mitered corner. Continue clipping all the way down. Hit all your corners the same way. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and I did all 4 corners. And I went all around the blanket. Now, when you get to the very end, you meet back where you met in the middle of that side. And what you're going to do is cut it so that it's about a couple inches longer than where you started so that you can cover this really well. And you're going to do the same thing and fold the corners like a paper airplane and iron it so it stays. Oh, I just burned the fabric. So what I should have done is use this from my Easy Press, like to iron, and just ironed on top of this, or just my regular ironing board. So this is what happens when you try to take shortcuts sometimes. They literally burn you. Way to go, Nati. That's all I had to do. Pure laziness. Okay, we're back at the sewing machine. We're just gonna finish this guy up now. As you can see, I have it set to a simple zigzag stitch. I didn't mess with any of the settings. I just left it straight at zigzag. So what you're gonna do now is zigzag down here, turn it, and zigzag all the way down. Alright, when you do your zigzag, you want to try and make sure that part of your zig goes on the blanket and the zag goes on the binding. And that way you're kind of like binding the two together as you go all the way around. I didn't get enough zig on my blanket, too much zag on the binding, so I'll try and do better next time. Okay, now you can see. So it's zigzagged and all, but I like a little bit more on one side. So if you can see, I started doing really well with my zigging and zagging. And then I didn't do so well to the point where my whole zigzag was off. So I'm going to have to go back over this, and it's not going to look good. But it's going to be better than having this open. But if you look on the other side, you know, it closes it up nicely. Because this is the longer side, remember that? But yeah, now I have to fix this. So I got to my first corner. At that point, I finished sewing all the way down and I did a back stitch. But I need to go back and fix this corner. Since I saw this coming off, I like released the corner. So I'm going to have to fix the corner. What you're going to do is like not sew the diagonal yet. Just keep going all the way around, sewing, you know, the same way I did here. And then do your diagonals at the end. Okay, so I've pretty much finished going around the edges. I still have to do all the corners. But now I'm coming back to where the front, like the beginning meets the end. So basically what I'm going to do at this point is line them up. So make sure it's not like this, because that's going to look bad. But line them up, you know, more so that it's like this. And you just keep sewing all the way down so that you're completely covering this part up. And then when you get to the end, then you go ahead and zigzag this side. After that, just go ahead and zigzag all of your corners. And you should be done. Okay, and now you can see I have a completely finished, completed baby blanket with fleece on one side, satin binding edges on the edge, Minky fabric on the other side, and even the baby's name embroidered on the other side. So, of course, you look at this, it is a hot mess in a lot of places, especially when you really look at the binding. You know, it's not perfect. But I'm not a professional. I don't claim to be a professional or an expert. So this is what it is. You can see it kind of gathered. So it's not straight like it's supposed to. But overall, it's a baby blanket that I made myself. And I'm happy with that. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who click the thumbs down symbol and they might dog me in the comments. That's okay. They're a lot better than me. But this is what I have. And I'm sure practice makes perfect. The more I'll do it, the better it'll get. And the same thing with all of you guys who want to try this out. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Just try it and see how it comes out. Good luck. Thanks for watching.